Hi everyone, welcome. If this is your first time here, my name is April and this is the Frugal Planner channel. If this is not your first time here, if it is a return trip, welcome back. I had a request from one of our community members to create a layout to track things that we have like in our pantry, in our freezer, in our fridge, so that we know what we have, we know what we've used, and it's just like this ongoing list. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can either do it portrait, or you can flip your page over and do it landscape. For me, because I will carry this with me, I would rather have it landscape so that when I'm holding it in my arm, I can fill it in. I don't know that I would love it as much having it as twisted this way. However, if it was like hanging somewhere, like in my kitchen, if I had a dowel that this hung on and I could just see it, then I'd probably want it this way because it would hang better. So depending on where you're going to put this in your house, if it's going to rest on the side of your counter, if it's going to be hanging there so you can just grab it and check things off as you use them, whatever is convenient for you, I will show you both layouts today. I've got a clear ruler. This is grid paper. It is a just grid paper spiral notebook. I believe it is 10.5 by 8 by 10.5. So what I'm going to start by doing is just dividing this off. I have two Papermate Inkjoy pens. I have a Kelly green and then one of the brights. It's the bright green. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to draw this line here all the way down. And then I am going to draw this line all the way over to here, this line all the way down. And what I'm doing is I'm framing in what space I'm going to be using on this page. So boxing it in more or less. And you can change this depending on how comfortable you feel writing your product name in that first column. If you write large, then you might want to make this column a little bit bigger, just so you have that room to write. And then up here, this is going to be my canning storage. So everything that I have canned this year and a few of the jellies that I have left over from 2024. Yes, we do continue to eat jellies into 2025 and 26 because they're good. I haven't yet opened a jar of canned jelly that I've made in the past. Even at the 3-year mark, it's still really good. So I am going to put up here So that is my canning inventory. That is what is going to be on this page right here. So let's go in here. I'm debating whether or not I want to take a lighter pen. I think I do. Let's just go in here. I think I do because I think as I go through this, it will be too confusing to keep the lines straight if I don't. So I'm going to take a Muji 0.5. You can get these on Amazon. I will remember to tag them or to put the link in the description below. It's just any 0.5, any smaller point pen is going to work for this. You just want it to be a thin line. You wouldn't want to use a Pilot G210 or, you could even use a pencil if you wanted to make it even lighter and less noticeable when you're writing. Again, if you are a large letter writer, you could skip and do 2 lines like this or 2 rows like this. That way you have a larger area to write what you want to write in. I want to make sure you guys are in view. My camera's been being funky where it's attached and it hasn't stayed like in the exact place every time I film. So I want to make sure that you are able to see what I'm doing. Now this setup will take a few minutes. This is not the fastest setup in the whole world. However, you are going to be using this potentially the whole year. So I would do one of these for my canning, one for the freezer, one for the fridge, and one for the pantry. This also helps when you're doing your grocery list and meal planning, because you can go to these and say, okay, canning wise, I have X, Y, and Z in the pantry. So let's say I'm looking at my inventory sheets and I know I've got marinara sauce in the canning section, and I know I have fresh garlic in the fridge. I know I have beef and lamb in the freezer, and I have tortellini pasta in the cupboard, in the pantry. So by knowing I have all of those things, I am in a meal plan and make, tortellini marinara for dinner. I also know that I have stuff to make bread. So maybe I throw together bread and put that in the oven as well. So being able to have an inventory of what you have is so very helpful. It's also helpful that if you keep it all in one notebook, let's say you're going to the grocery store and you have your grocery store list. Let's say you're going down the aisle that has all of the beans and you're looking at canned beans and they are having a sale on canned black beans, 79 cents a can. And you have your inventory sheet with you, you can go ahead and look at your pantry list and see if you are getting low or if it would be beneficial for you to pick up a few cans at that discounted price. You can also look at your meal planning that week and see if you could substitute different protein items for black beans instead, and maybe save yourself a little bit of money on your grocery bill that week. So having an inventory sheet, even though yes, it does take some time to set up, it is worth its weight in food gold. Goodness, I couldn't get the D out of there, in the long run. So taking a little bit of time to get this all set up and then inventory what you have is so beneficial down the road. And when you do your pantry, it's up to you. I don't normally do my spices in my pantry because when I run out, I just put it on my grocery list to get more. Rarely do I run into a sale on items that I have in my pantry for spices. If I do, if it's something I use a lot, like garlic powder, onion powder, bay leaves, if those things go on sale, of course I'm going to pick them up. So let's go in here. What I'm going to do now, so each one of these columns here is going to be the number of items that we have on hand. And you're like, April, this is a whole lot of setup. I know it is. But I think when we're done with it and when you set yours up, you are going to be really thankful that you put all of this in there, because I have set it up before where I was like, oh, I don't need to put all these lines in there. And then I start marking off, what I've used, and things get confusing because it's kind of in this line, but it's not quite in this line. So you can absolutely try it without doing all of the lines first. If you want to give it a whirl and not put in all of these lines, feel free. Give it a whirl. I do know I have at least this much stuff in my canning room, so I am excited. Am I running out of ink? Is my pen just being ornery? Go a little slower. There we go. I'm excited to put everything down. We did a lot of canning this year. We had a very successful tomato pepper garden. I even did some canned squash with pineapple juice and lemon juice. And it's supposed to taste like pineapple when you open it. So I'm going to let that set for a few months. And then I might try to make a pineapple upside down cake with it and see, I'll let you know if it actually does, because I don't know about you, but anytime I plant squash or zucchini, I can plant one plant and I end up having enough for, you know, a very small town to share. They just go bananas. We are almost there. I also love that the paper folds up. Like, we're doing a lot of work right now. We are definitely doing a lot of work to get this set up, and we're going to appreciate it when we start filling it in. Originally, when I set this up years ago, I put dates across the top and soon realized that that was a big mistake, because not everything do I take inventory every single week. Like, I wouldn't necessarily put this in here and then go do an inventory on it immediately. So let me start writing what I have as far as my canning inventory. This is not going to be in any order whatsoever. It's just a list, and that's really all you need to do is just make a list, and then we'll go back and fill in our start quantities. Diced tomato, marinara sauce, spaghetti sauce, tomato sauce, tomato juice, mild salsa, medium salsa, hot salsa, and hotter salsa. We did 2 batches, and one turned out a lot hotter than the hot. So it was like, oh my gosh, that is a lot. That is a lot hotter. So it is hot salsa and hotter salsa. That's how they are put together down there. Bean chili. And then I'm going to go into pickles. So I've got dill pickles. And then bread and butter pickles. We also did some chicken stock, beef stock, canned potatoes, some black beans, some kidney beans, and some pinto beans. And then we will hop to our fruit and our jams and jellies. I did pears. I did oranges. I did apple butter. Apple pear butter. Applesauce. Blackberry jam. Grape jelly. Raspberry jam. Trying to think of my shelves because I'm not down in the basement. What else? What other jams did I do? Oh, cranberry sauce, orange marmalade, I did a mixed berry, and that one's a jam because there are seeds in it, and then pomegranate jelly, I did some cranberry juice, some lemonade. There really isn't many things better than dead of winter, cold outside, crisp lemonade. And if we get a day where there's sunshine, I'll throw the iced tea maker outside, or the sun tea maker outside, and then we'll do Arnold Palmer's, which are half iced tea and half lemonade, and it's like summertime. Summertime has arrived, even though we're on, day 97 of pure rain. So having lemonade on hand is nice. I've also got pineapple juice, and I think, I'm trying to think if there was anything else. There might be. There very well might be more on the shelf down there. So, since I probably won't have this green pen with me all the time, I am going to hop back over to my Muji, and I'm just going to write down my starting number for all of these things. And like I said, if I carry this downstairs later, that's where my canning room is, and I find more things in there, I've got plenty of space. And if I get down there and I realize there's even more than this, I can start a new page. It's completely fine. If you want to alphabetize this, you can do that as well. If you want to do it kind of in categories like I did, that's completely fine. Oh, you know what? There is more. Hold on. I did carrots, green beans, did I already get pears up here? Yes, I did get the pears. And then cowboy candy, which is jalapenos, hot peppers in a vinegar sugar brine. Oh, they're so good. All right, so now that I added 3 more things that I remembered I had downstairs, let's go in here. So I have got 12 to start of the diced tomatoes. I have 12 to start of the marinara, and 12, and these are pints. So they're like this. They're probably about half of what you would buy in the grocery store as a spaghetti sauce, because it's just Wes and I. So I can accordingly. Now, could I open 2 if we were having company? Absolutely. Absolutely. Tomato sauce, I did 6, and I did 6 of the tomato juice. I did 12 mild, 12 medium, 12 hot, and 6 of the hotter. Not as many of those. And then for my chili, I did 12 only because they're also in pints. They're super easy for me to throw in my lunch bag with a bowl and heat them up at work, put a little cheese on them, and I have the most amazing chili to have. And if I made bread that week, I can cut off a piece of bread, throw it in the toaster in the morning, and then I've got like a crunchy, not crunchy, but toasted piece of bread to go with my chili for lunch. Dill pickles and bread and butter pickles, 6 of each. 6 of the chicken stock, 6 of the beef stock. I've got 18, and I did these in quarts, so the big jars. They're potatoes, and they are amazing. They cook up so well on the Blackstone. I cannot tell you, they crisp up, and the only thing they're canned with is butter. I don't even salt and pepper them, just butter, and I put them in the pressure canner. They are amazing, amazing. I did 6 of each of the beans, 6 pears, 6 oranges. I have got 12 apple butter, 12 apple pear, and I did these in the small jelly jars. So last year I did them in the larger jelly jars, and we found out we don't eat jams and jelly as fast as we thought we did. So they would stay in the fridge, they'd get shoved to the back. By the time we found them, they would not be good anymore. So Wes was like, why don't we put them in the smaller jars, and that way we'll use them up faster and we'll use the whole thing up. So this is the first year for us that we're doing the smaller jars. Applesauce, I've got 3. blackberry jam, 12 grape jelly, 12 raspberry, 6 cranberry sauce, 12 orange marmalade, 6 mixed berry, 4 pomegranates. So the pomegranate and the cranberry stuff was from last November, when you could get cranberries and pomegranates really affordable. Actually, Wes got the pomegranates in California when they came back from Baja in November, and then he and I worked on learning how to make pomegranate jam. So it's not even quite a year old yet. So I just wanted to let you know, because cranberries aren't in season right now. So if you were looking at my canning list and you were like, wait a minute, where did you get cranberries? Did you freeze them from last year? Nope, these are from last year. And then cranberry juice, I've got 2. Lemonades, I've got 4. Pineapple juices, I've got 2. Carrots, I've got 6. Green beans, I've got 6. And cowboy candy, I only have 2 left. I need to can more of that because we found out we really like it over a cream cheese block and then chips. Oh, so good. So this is what the inventory would look like. Now, to keep up on the inventory, I want to make sure we're in the screen still. To keep up on the inventory, remember when I said, you know, I want to do my pantry, so I know I have marinara down there, and I'm going to go take one of those off the shelf. So that is what I'm making tonight. I am going to go down and I am going to grab one of the marinara tonight. So I'm going to put this at 11. And that's all there is to it. That is, I guess I could have just done 12 across now that I think about it, but I didn't know if I would have more than that. So that is all I do to keep track of my canning, is if I go down and get one, mark it off. I've got 11. Usually this stays upstairs with me, so when I do put things together for dinner, I can flip through and say, okay, this is my canning page. I grabbed marinara and now I've got 11 of those left. And let's say tomorrow morning I run down and grab one of the potatoes, then I've got 17 left. So that's how I keep track of the inventory for canning. Now, if I was going to do this, flip this over. If I was going to do this the other way, the landscape way, I would go in here and I would still do this line here. This line at the bottom. These 2 on the side. Oop. Make funny sound effects when I do. And then instead of making such long rows, because how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's plenty. If I go here, and I'm going to do this one with pencil just to show you can do an even lighter line. And this may or may not show up on camera, so just be aware, if you want to do pencil, you absolutely could. I was going to go and make double space, but I have too much stuff. Way too much stuff in my pantry, in my freezer, in my fridge, and in canning. So canning was just the easiest one for me to share with you because I just got done putting everything down there. Wes organized the shelves for me, so I was able to go down with his help and just kind of organize everything into groupings and then put all of my empty jars on shelves so I could see like what I'm working with. So let's go in here. I'm going to do that one, that one. And like I said, if you have some way of hanging this in your kitchen, that is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. So I just did 3 columns, and this is going to be freezer, freezer inventory. So I know I have chicken strips that I made. They're so good. So when I make my chicken strips, I buy chicken thighs and then I cut them into strip size. I marinate them in a wet mixture of egg, milk, and Tabasco. Sometimes I'll use a hot sauce if I have one that's coming up that, you know, we haven't used a whole lot of. We didn't really care for it, but it's a good hot sauce. I'll pour that in there, and then I put some paprika, just a few spices, salt and pepper. So they go from that, after soaking in that, to a flour mix that has a ton of seasoning in it. Smoked paprika, salt, pepper, garlic salt, or garlic powder, onion powder, a little cumin. Sometimes I'll put some celery salt in there, just whatever I grab out of the pantry. And then they go back into the wet liquid, the egg mixture, and then they go into crushed up cornflakes. And I'm telling you, the cornflakes are amazing. And then I fry them in tallow, and then I only fry them, I do 375 for 4 minutes, let them drain, and then I freeze them just like that. And then I put them in, after they freeze on the pan, I will put them in the freezer saver bags. And then when we heat them up in the air fryer, they cook the rest of the way and they brown the rest of the way. If you cook them fully and freeze them and try to reheat them, the cornflakes will burn and your chicken will get dry. So a little secret for you there. So I've got chicken strips. I've got beef roast, whole chicken. I have corn, I have peas, I have breakfast burritos that we made. We have a friend who raises pigs, so we got some sausage and we made breakfast burritos with that sausage, some cheese, and eggs, and they are so wonderful, so quick for work. Just throw it in the microwave. I've got breakfast, easy peasy. Wes really likes them too. I have got shrimp. I've got some salmon from a friend who went to Alaska. Here's the other great thing. I can trade some salmon for, or some sausage for some canning. So I do that a lot. I'll trade jams and jellies for other things. It's like a bartering system, which I absolutely love. And then I have some dumplings. And I always have frozen butter in the freezer. So that gives you an idea of a freezer inventory. And then for the chicken strips, I'm going to do how many meals I have. So I've sealed them in the bags as meals. So I know I have 7. I started off with 10, but we really like them. Roast beef, I've got 2 beef roasts, whole chicken. I've got 2. They are not cooked. They are just whole chickens. And I like to put them in the crock pot on a day that I know it's going to be busy at work and I'm not going to want to do anything else. And I will throw carrots and small potatoes in with them, or in with it, season it heavily, and just let it go all day long while I'm at work. Corn, I've got 6 bags of corn, 2 bags of peas. I have 8 full breakfast burritos, 2 packages of shrimp. I've got 1 package of salmon left, 1 package of dumplings left, and 4 packages of butter. So if I am looking at what I'm doing for dinner tonight and I wasn't going to do the marinara, actually, I think I also have, I know I have, all right, let's do this because that's going to make more sense. Because I need to put the lamb and beef down so that I can do the meatballs. So two more rows really quick. Wes is back or in the kitchen putting the wheat bread, seeing what it looks like in the oven. I've never made wheat bread before. This is my very first time. And the pan that I got to make it is like 80 pounds. It's so heavy. So I'm going to do hamburger. Whoops. Oh, well. How does it look?
Holy shit.
Holy good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yay! All right. Well, I hope it turns out. I'm excited.
You should look at it.
Well, I'm still filming, so as soon as I'm done, I will for sure. Thanks for taking the lid off.
Yeah.
And you did it for 15?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 and 2. Okay, so tonight, obviously with the marinara, I am going to take one of each of these in order to make the meatballs. So that takes me down to 1. I like to have 2 on hand, usually of everything. So when I go to the grocery, except for the salmon, I don't buy salmon. I just get it from my friend when they go. So when I look over this to get my grocery list, if I have anything in the week that I'm going to be using shrimp for, or dumplings, I'll get like another batch. The other thing I do is if it's on sale at a bigger like package instead of a 1 pound, if they've got a 2 or a 4 pound on sale, I'll buy that and then break it up into 1 pound batches. And a lot of times I will take I will combine these together, or I'll get burger and sausage and make meatballs with it. And then I will freeze the meatballs raw, and then I'll put them in the freezer bags, you know, the Saver Seal bags, food saver bags, and throw those in the freezer so that I have something that's ready to go but still needs to be cooked. It's not fully cooked. So that's what it would look like if you did it this way. And like I said, if you had somewhere to hang it in your kitchen, either by this or a rod through the top, this would be a great way to keep track of inventory. If you don't, and you prefer just like the school version of carrying your notebook, this works well too. And ironically, I have been using this notebook to plan out my 2026 garden. So it's only true that it also be canning inventory and, you know, food inventory. So let me know what you think down below, if this is something that you feel is maintainable, manageable. Let me know if you like this format better or if you really prefer this format. Both are really effective, really, really effective. So I'm curious to see what you think. I hope you have an awesome day. I will catch you down in the comments. I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.